Det går ju lätt att så.
It's a great pleasure that for the second day here at dagarna, and I have to say, you know, this third day, that's something new we haven't had at dagarna before. So this free day with fantastic panels and speeches is a gift from dagarna. I think it's worth an applause. My name is Astrid Asefa, and I've been the conferencier here at Hörsagan for 3 days. And 3 fantastic days. Once again, I have to say that. And now we have a very, very distinguished guest who is a role model for all of us. He saved more than 1,200 persons' life when his own life, his family's life, was under threat. He chose the right thing. He did what we all hope we would do in the worst of situations. He will have a conversation with Caroline Edelstam, who is a co-founder and vice president of the Edelstam Foundation. And the man I am talking about is, of course, Paul Rusesabagina, who is the head now of Hotel Rwanda Rusesabagina Foundation. And very, very welcome, Paul and Caroline.
I think it's a great honor, Paul, to have the ability to sit here with you and discuss this important theme of today. If one person can actually make a difference. To possess the ability to show civic courage in situations when you really see that the human rights are being violated to an extreme extent where you can't really believe that it's possible, that it's even happening. I have the honor of working together with Paul in the Edelstam Foundation, which we work to inspire to civic courage and also to educate about the importance of civic courage within the defense of human rights. We award biannually the Edelstam Prize, which is an international prize for exceptional civic courage within the defense of human rights. And Paul is a member of the board, which I'm very privileged to have the opportunity to work together with Paul. So I thought we would start a little bit with the responsibility each person has, but also the international community, the responsibility to protect. and actually to have the guts to protest when there are violations of the human rights. I know, Paul, that you are an ordinary man, an ordinary, hard-working, free-father person who found yourself in a difficult situation. And this has been filmed in the movie Hotel Rwanda, with Don Cheadle as the main character. You said the other day to me when we had a sincere conversation about what is it that triggers, how can you forgive, and how do you actually manage to move on when things like this has been happening. And you mentioned the Rwandan word urukundo to me, which means love. I thought it was very nice, touching, and you said you have to be able to go beyond in order to forgive and to understand the processes. So lots of people know your story from the film Hotel Rwanda. How did they actually decide to make a film about it?
Thank you, Caroline. Maybe before I say something, I would like to greet the audience. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Excellent. See you there. Why a movie? Actually, Hotel Rwanda is a movie which was even supposed to take place as from 1994-1995. However, since you also to be a president's friend, because I want to have a champagne every evening, no, I better drink, just drink water without, or tea without sugar, rather than drinking a champagne every evening, but remain who I am. I love this person that I am.
So Paul, it's quite hard to be forced to leave your country, to live in exile. But there must be so many things that you're missing about your life and in Rwanda, and about just feeling that you belong somewhere.
Well, of course, you can imagine, I was born and raised in Rwanda until the age of 21. I never left my home kind of village where I went to school for many years. I miss a lot. This is why I hate to be called a refugee. And this is what I don't understand. From people who went to exile, who have tasted exile, who come back to power and send others back to exile. Exile is a school, one of the worst ever. So you are going to school, you have learned, and you have become a strong man. You even happen to have power. And you come back and tell others, oh well, I have finished my course. Go there and feel how it is. So I miss everything. And once it becomes a rule that you are no more allowed to do this or that, it then becomes a problem. If I was here as a choice, a personal choice, then I would say, okay, this is me, it is my choice. Whenever I want, I will go. But the very day they tell you that, since now onwards, you are persona non grata, then you miss everything, miss the people, you miss those beautiful mountains of Rwanda, you miss the sunset, you miss the bugari we used to eat when we were children, and everything, and then all of those small things.
Do you feel that I know that you came a long way in or process of forgiving. How do you appreciate that Rwanda has actually managed to recover from the genocide? The people who actually lived their lives in Rwanda every day, have they managed to move on and to reconcile with the government and with their neighbors who one belonged to the Hutu side and the other one to the Tutsis?
The Rwandan story is completely different from what we think. As I told you when I was starting, I told you that in Rwanda we had a winner through a civil war and a loser. So everything is dictated. We know that Hutus definitely killed Tutsis in 1994 between April 6 and July 4. That is the period of the genocide. Even if the United Nations went a little bit far, and the Rwandan government went even further, the United Nations say that in the Resolution 955 of November 8th, 1994, defining the Rwandan genocide, they say that the genocide started on January 1st and ended on December 31st, 1994. The Rwandan government went even far. The Rwandan government started in 1990, starting from 1990 up to the end of 1994. And the irony is that in 1990, today the then rebels, actually who crossed the border with Uganda, came into Rwanda. The very same day, they started killing Hutu civilians. Then on their way, they continued killing them. As a result, by 1993, early 1994, we had around Kigali, the capital city of Rwanda, more than 1 million people who were living just in the camps, coming to begging town. These people had no food. These people had no shelter. These people were just under the sun and the dust. And you can imagine all the disasters in camps. These people had no schools for their future generations. And this is one, actually, of the complications we had during that whole period of time. Because also, Tutsis were killing Hutus. During the Rio period of the genocide, the 3 months, during those months, also, it was a war, as I said. No one stopped fighting. When Hutus were killing Tutsis, Tutsis were also killing Hutus. Only the winner is writing history. So, now, afterwards, we saw that is when we started seeing people being tied from the back. And with small hooves, the kidnap hitting their head and breaking it into pieces. And those people, some of them, their bodies brought to the national parks, National Game Reserve, burned, and their ashes sprayed all over the parks and the National Game Reserves. That is when we saw many people, as I was saying, being pushed into prisons. And who was pushing them into the prisons? The ones who also had the responsibility of killing between 1990 and the ones who are doing justice today. Now you ask yourself, how in the name of justice can you see a criminal, someone who is accused to be a war criminal, and who is accused to be a criminal against humanity, trying and convicting a genocidaire? Because other crimes have stopped in Rwanda today. Only the crime of genocide is the one which is being tried, for which people are being tried and convicted. So war criminals, criminals against humanity, are trying and convicting genocidaires. How in the name of justice can a criminal try and convict another criminal. So justice is still a problem in that country.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.